You're now listening to the Something Good Podcast Network. Please press any key to continue.
Everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Couch Potatoes. I'm Alex, and we got Cap.
What's up, y'all?
And Morrison.
Hello.
And this week we're going to be delving into something that kind of dawned on us all of a sudden when we were just kind of having a powwow discussing our future episodes. And, you know, we've done all these kind of game show parodies on the main network and the Patreon. I mean, well, we just got finished with it with our Halloween episode and, you know, just doing crazy shit like that. But we've not actually done an episode on game shows. And it's like, we've all spent some time with some grandmas and some aunts that just leave that shit on the TV. And
oh, yeah.
so let's go ahead and roll down that path. So
I say every Wednesday, I'd spend the night, not spend the night, I would be at my grandmother's house for like a few hours after school. And we'd be there till about 8, 9 o'clock while my parents were doing whatever. And then, it would be Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? This was early 2000s. Mm-hmm. And then Wheel of Fortune before that. Not Jeopardy all that much. I started watching Jeopardy on the regular, like after I started going to college.
I love Jeopardy.
I did too.
Well, I mean, I can imagine that because Jeopardy was out of all the nighttime after news game shows that would play. Mm-hmm. That was definitely the one that took a little bit more knowledge and was a little bit more like dry.
Every day at 7.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know. I kind of see where he's coming from on that with it taking a little bit more time to kind of latch onto that one.
Yeah, Jeopardy was like really specific with its trivia. Mm-hmm. Probably more specific than
Potent potables.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like, and you also have to realize, at least, especially for both of us, both of us came from, little redneck, hick towns. So it's like, unless they had some nice flashing colors and shit like that, I couldn't give a shit.
I fucking loved it. I'd watch that shit and be like, oh my God, how did you not know that, you piece of shit?
Right.
And like, I love the backgrounds. You could tell like Alex Trebek back when he was like in his prime was still like making fun of these people in a weird way. He's like, oh, so you're a librarian.
Right.
Just
start talking shit to the contestants.
Especially if they're younger. And then you get those guys on there like Ken Jennings and shit who would just dominate.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's talk about that real quick. So Ken Jennings, he wound up becoming pretty popular on Jeopardy for, I'm sure you're pulling it up, Cap. How many wins in a row did he get?
God, let's see. I had to
he's the grand champion.
The grand champion. But yeah, while you're getting that pulled up, though, the longest running contestant on, I think, any game show, not just Jeopardy, but just any game show. And so when you look at people like that, do you just go, how do you have that much knowledge, or does it make sense to you personally, Chris?
It makes sense to me. You think about, like, people don't really know how much they know. It's a weird way. Like, there is no limit to what you know. A great that movie
Limitless.
Yeah, I was going to say
there was that movie where the kid plays was it Millionaire, the little Indian kid.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about.
But there was a movie about that, and he pulled from experiences, and that's how he won the whole fucking thing.
I thought you were going to talk about the movie Limitless with Bradley Cooper.
No.
Yeah, I was talking about that one where it unlocks the rest of your brain for mental capacity.
No, he would have a seizure. That's what unlocking all your brain does. All the fucking neurons fire at once, and you swallow your tongue.
By the way, 74 straight wins for Ken Jennings on Jeopardy.
Yeah, so that's about roughly a season is 26, so probably 3 years worth of winnings.
Damn.
And what's funny is he kind of just bows out almost in the last few because he's won so much. And
it's like, what's the point anymore? I get no satisfaction anymore.
Once you hit that level, though, because he's probably still consuming information the whole time, because a lot of it is pop culture. Like, in the last 10 years, Jeopardy has gotten a little bit more pop culture-y about some of their trivia, which, it kind of mellows out the playing field a little bit from some Mensa candidate who's like teaches math at Harvard
Or-
to like this librarian from Cleveland.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like the not just the wealth of knowledge or the value of knowledge, it's common knowledge kind of levels
exactly.
that fucking playing field.
Not so much like biology or like sciences or anything like that.
They lost a question. It was like a quote from Malcolm in the Middle or something, and they all lost like $200 each on this fucking question. And I'm just like, oh my God, you fucking nerds. Like, it's just like, it just shocks me some of the stuff that is so easy that's like, bam, right out the gate. And then the structure of questions is grammatically changing all the time. It's like, hey, countries ending in ER, but the category would be vague, but the ER would be by itself. So Algier, Niger, you know what I'm saying?
Colors that end in purple.
Yeah. So, and it's just so elaborate, some of the stuff. Now, the next guy below King Jennings, who's the grand champion, he figured something out that no one else does, was targeting. Question targeting. So because questions go from least to most, and you have the doubles, the double questions where you can bet.
Yeah.
Now he figured out no matter how many times he played, like if he had general knowledge, he didn't have the trivial knowledge of Ken Jennings, but he knew how to get him.
Right.
And it was selective targeting on the board. All right, Ken Jennings, he's going from the top to bottom. Fuck that. 500. Alex, what the fuck? Cars 500. What is? I don't know. Boop. And like it's like
So it's like strategic.
He was strategically playing, which we'll go into this a little bit more throughout the show. But there are people who do this in games where they selectively target certain points of the game to beat the game.
I was going to say
there's strategy to it, kind of like Monopoly and or chess or checkers. There is a strategy going into it where you can win in a really fucked up way.
Well, it's like if you go for like all the big amount, big amount of points, you're kind of taking those away from your competition too.
Like you're high risk, high reward,
right?
But also high loss.
Exactly.
And that's how this the secondary guy. I forget his name. He looks like he barely opens his eyes.
Let's see.
But he dominated, and then they did the grand champion thing, which was really good because they went up against that fucking computer. And I'm just like, ugh. It's like the Mike Phelps racing a shark. It's so fucking stupid. But Jeopardy for me, going to the next one, Jeopardy for me was a fan favorite.
Yeah.
And man, it was. I still watch it sometimes today. I got a fucked up story. I was sitting with someone we know, another cousin. And,
Yep.
We were watching Jeopardy, and this dude's like, "Hey man, do you want to put some money on it?" I was like, "Okay, we'll watch Jeopardy right now."
You degenerate gamblers.
And whoever's got the most wins.
Yeah.
And it was like $1. Like you know what bets are, the dollar bets.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm answering like bam, Buick, bam, Algeria, bam, Russian Holocaust. Like just like really fucked up stuff like just coming through.
Right.
And he's like, "Oh, you didn't answer in the form of a question." I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here with your stupid bullshit." And like I was just dominating, and like he still hasn't given me the $1. Fucking piece of shit. But like even my buddy, he was counting. Like he's like, "God damn, man, he's kicking your ass."
Are you asked? So for your question earlier, are we talking about most consecutive games won or highest winnings, or if we're going consecutive games won? The gentleman's name under Ken Jennings, of course, was Matt Amodio.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That dude, he was a strategic targeter, so his answers were correct to a point, but his high risk, was so because the higher the risk, the harder the question.
That's a guy that plays Vegas a lot.
Yeah. He's just playing the odds on that one.
And then there's one name that keeps popping up on this list is James Halshauer.
Yeah.
I don't know if that name rings a bell to you at all.
Yeah. They did the Tournament of Champions last before Alex Trebek had died.
Gotcha.
And
yeah, the ones for me growing up, daytime, I fell in love with Family Feud. And the reason I fell in love with Family Feud at that time was, as we talked about on the 90s shows we liked, I liked Home Improvement.
Yeah.
And Al was the guy hosting it at the time. So that's all I really knew is I was like, oh, it's the guy from, you know, Home Improvement, doing a TV show.
Oh, it's Al Borland.
Yeah, exactly.
What's his real name? Nobody knows.
No one knows. It's Al. It's Al. So it's like I mainly watched it for that, and I really enjoyed his personality. I enjoyed the concept of putting two families together, answering these sort of questions, and kind of like what you were talking about, watching it as feeling dumb. It's like I'm watching this, and it's like, you know, top 6 answers are on the board. You know, name something that begins with the letter R, and it's like, you know, half of these people are like throwing out W words, and I'm like, how are these people on TV? Like, I'm sitting here going, like, me and my family would, like, win. Like, we would immediately have this. Like, what is wrong with people?
That's kind of what Family Feud became, especially when Steve Harvey took over.
It got so worse when Steve Harvey took over. I swear they started picking intentionally dumb contestants.
I think you're right, too, because that's just, you know, good TV.
Oh, of course. And we get to laugh at it. We post it up on YouTube. Oh, look at them. But it's like, there is no way that some of these people are serious with these answers. At least I would hope not. You know?
I hate that show so much.
You hate Family Feud. Why do you hate Family Feud?
All iterations, too?
And this is not a jab at people who like the show.
As he stares me down.
It's the lowest common denominator of fucking game shows.
How so?
Interesting.
It's geared toward campiness, especially with Steve Harvey.
It is now, yeah.
Before Al Borland took it over, I watched.
Richard Karn is his name, by the way.
No one cares.
It's Al Borland.
He's the OSHA guy on Home Improvement.
I don't think so, Tim.
No, you can't put a chainsaw in a recliner. That's him vomiting up the cocaine, draining down his veins.
Yes.
Draining down his throat.
Basically.
I watched it back when Louis Anderson did it, and it was just so sad to watch. He's like, that's the end of the bar. And it's just like, dude, stop drinking. And I'm just like, God damn, this guy's gonna die doing this. And like,
oh, dude, all those like old school fucking game show hosts are so fun to watch because they're all just lit off their fucking ass.
I'm not saying the game is hard or easy. It's just seems like the host is creepy as fuck. Like Al Borland, I'm going to keep calling him Al Borland.
Yeah,
he's a very middle of the road guy.
Yeah, he's very likable.
He's very likable. He can be campy. He can be funny because he came from a campy television show.
Right.
But you get someone like Steve Harvey, who's kind of fucking weird to begin with.
Yeah,
but he kind of like, you know, adds
but
all of the punctuation
it's
to
always,
like the situation. Like, you so crazy in so many words.
It's always the same joke.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, I got this question. All right, don't make it sexual, and then they make it sexual, and it's like, ooh, my bad.
Yeah,
and
that's why I said it's gotten way worse.
And I'm just like, what?
But when Al Borland was doing
it up,
and also when John O'Hurley was doing it, he was good because I had looked it up. I was like, I remember there being one more after Louis Anderson, but yeah, I like the John O'Hurley ones.
Yeah, and then you got you got Family Feud, which is a surveyed system,
right?
All right, and it's not too elaborate. They survey 100 people, and these are the top best answers of this question. Now, in your mind, you think you know all those fucking answers, right? All the possibilities that come through your brain.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the fun of it.
Yeah, but if you're on the spot, that's what
thing.
fucks you.
Yeah.
Now, the game can be compelling.
It can
be. But with someone like Steve Harvey on it, just makes it weird as shit.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily talking about Steve Harvey. I'm talking about when I was growing up watching it. I thoroughly enjoyed that. But then my second one was Wheel of Fortune. I liked Wheel of Fortune because it had a big wheel, and I like a big wheel.
That's probably what I watched the most growing up was Wheel of Fortune.
It was Hangman with money.
Yes. But it's like, I liked it because it's like, you know, they spun and then they only got to pick like one letter. And it's like, even though, and you know, this, I've talked about this on Something Good For You, I am a horrible speller. Like, I am dog shit at spelling. That's why I prefer typing. I love seeing the little red thing pop up underneath, and I'm like, thank you, internet. It's like, but I am horrible at spelling, but I would still enjoy watching Wheel of Fortune because it's like, they'd be like, is there an E? They're like, there's 2 E's. And it's like she touched the little screen and I'm like, oh. And it's like my dumb little brain is still trying to figure it out, even though I can't spell. I'm like trying to like figure out, like place the words in.
Yeah, Pat Sajak's still,
Still kicking.
still kicking. Looks,
Oh, yeah.
still
And,
kind of looks exactly.
Vanna White.
Yeah, the Vanna White. They both are just like ageless freaks.
Yeah. I love the joke, the parodies of Wheel of Fortune, because you could do so much with it. Like South Park did the Stan Marsh.
Oh my God,
People that annoy you.
Yeah.
In
Ooh.
like GGERS. And everybody's like,
Should we answer this?
I like to solve the puzzle, Pat.
Randy, no.
One was it was a meme for the longest time. It was the answer was luck be a lady tonight.
Yes.
And somebody's like,
Fuck me in the butt tonight.
I know this one.
Well, how about one that I know for a fact that all of us have watched? And if you want to talk about beating the system and everything, let's kind of pull that back in. The Price is Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all the lore of
Did
like
you
beating the
enjoy
system
Price is
and all
Right?
of that. I didn't watch it as much as I watched Wheel of Fortune. I would always be at my friends' houses watching Price is Right.
Well, see, you can
Price
only get
is
away
Wrong,
with Price.
Cap.
See, you can only get away with watching Price is Right if you were sick or played hooky.
Yeah.
because that came on at like
that was
10 or
that was
11,
stay
right
home
before
game.
the afternoon news.
Yeah, I didn't like it because it just seems like, where the fuck are you buying this stuff? And because there was an episode I watched and it was celebrities.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, Jane Fonda, how much do you think a gallon of milk is? Well, obviously it's $24.
No,
And it's just
Barbarella, we're not
what
rich
the
fucks like you.
Like, where are you buying did you buy a cow?
yeah.
Do you buy everything at Sky Mall?
Yeah. Like everything they like. And it kind of gives you that whole like class system, like just that disparageness of it.
This is probably back when like Jane Fonda was in that Ted Turner fucking like bankroll too.
Yeah, I got that Captain Planet money, motherfucker. Yep. But like, there'd always be celebrities on there who would fuck it up. Mm-hmm. Hey, I got this single bottle of Ajax dish soap. It beats the grease. And it's like the dollar bottle. You know the dollar bottle. It's always been $1. It's been $1 since Clinton was president. It's been a fucking dollar. The formula didn't change. It's soap. And she's like, well, obviously, you don't need a lot of it. So I'll say $20. I'm just like, God damn, bitch. You are dumb. And I don't know if you've noticed this throughout watching game shows. The fucking prizes have gone to shit.
I don't think Chris likes game shows.
I don't like this stupid idea that you just have to guess prices. It's so fucking stupid because it doesn't match.
It did at the time.
Prices in Charlotte are different from prices in Statesville, okay?
Not for like basic items.
Not for basic items,
And that's what they're not doing. Like, how much is this McDonald's cheeseburger? Where in New York is going to be a different price than it is in North Carolina. A washing machine in North Carolina is going to be the same price as a washing machine in fucking.
Speaking of that, someone from my town won the whole goddamn thing.
Oh yeah.
Someone from Statesville, a autistic fellow, won the whole fucking thing,
Oh no shit.
and he destroyed them. Like, there was not even, like, the showcase, he might as well have been by his fucking self. He just racked in a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
And, like, everyone's like, how did he do that? Dude, watch his fucking Price is Right every day. Like, that's how he won.
Well, that's what I was going to lead into. Is there is a really good documentary out about this guy that like it's a really good story even about him getting in.
Yeah.
But like he tried for like 3 years doing different trials because peel back the curtain of The Price is Right. They're not just randomly selecting people from the audience.
Right.
You kind of get a feeling going in if you're going to get selected or not. And every time he knew he wasn't going to get picked, and like finally like the 4th time he like passed this certain quiz or whatever that got him in, and like how he won to such a degree they put his winnings on hold.
Yeah, 'cause they thought he was cheating.
Yeah, they thought he was cheating only because he knew basically what you're saying. He watched Prices Right all the time, figured out there was rhythms and patterns within prices and patterns in which they would give things away. And then they would start showing the same products over and over. And then he'd start writing them down. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, that bottle of dish soap from 2 years ago is still the same price. So if I get that, I need to remember it's really just $1.
But, like, what's his name? Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Won the whole fucking showcase before he was the celebrity.
Yep.
And it's so weird watching that, and it's just like, hey, that's Pinkman from fucking Breaking Bad.
And he's like so excited too.
He won a boat!
Yeah. And you talk about how shitty the prices are and shit like that.
Yeah.
it's a boat. It's always a brand new car. It's always like a fucking vacation or some shit like that.
I remember watching it. I know I was younger watching it, but I was like, oh man, a brand new F-150.
That's what I'm saying. What's shitty about any of this?
But then now it's like, oh cool, Cap, you want a Honda Civic?
Yeah, you're right. That's kind of what happens on like Let's Make a Deal and shit like that now too.
Yeah, but there's also comes a price with some of these gifts. There is a price to the winning.
The taxes.
Well, there's a
The
price to
fucking
all
taxes.
of this. Yeah,
the brutal Oprah got in trouble for giving up all those people cars because they had to pay the fucking tax
Yeah.
on them, and it's just like, God damn.
Well, that's what happened with all those extreme makeover home edition things.
Oh, yeah, the property
taxes skyrocketed, and half of the time, I think they said like the average was those homeowners only stayed at that property for 5 years on average before they had to move out.
I will say they did fuck up some people's houses.
Oh yeah, some of them.
I love the meme as a GIF actually, but it's like, move that truck, and they move the truck, and the house is like on fire, and they're just like, ah! They're like screaming. They're like, it looks like they're crying from happiness, but it looks like they're screaming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like hysterical, just like
Yeah. No, I watched a good handful of those because those came on right after Lost and shit like that.
I used to watch Monster House where they just fuck up a house. They're like, oh, Tim liked motorcycles in 1998, so we're going to make his whole house motorcycle themed. And it's like, God damn.
it's just like a fucking nightmare.
And then probably one of
the Price is Right is this fucking nightmare.
And then probably one of the newest game shows to come out in our era that was really fucking great. And I have so many memories, probably more memories with this show than any of the others, mainly because it was a primetime game show.
Yeah.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Now, do you remember when it was the lady?
Yes.
Where they ranked their answers?
Yeah.
That was the original Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. There's a lady, and she's like...
It was the UK version is what you're talking about. But
okay.
we never got that in the US. Our debut version was with Regis Philbin.
Same,
and
yeah.
then we had the lady that was on Good Morning America that replaced him. But so that one, we never got that in the US, but I know what you're talking about. I've watched it on YouTube.
I was like, me and my grandma would get invested in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and we'd be like,
Dude, same here.
We get so excited. We're like,
have you seen did you ever see Norm Macdonald play it?
No.
I was gonna bring that up. Yes, Regis Philbin fucked him on that. Look. Okay, so
all right.
This is fresh on my mind because you must have watched a Norm Macdonald video or something on my profile, because all of a sudden my entire feed has been nothing but Norm Macdonald. So of course I've been clicking them because when YouTube gives you Norm Macdonald, you click Norm Macdonald.
Right, and that's how the internet works.
Yes. And his entire segment of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was on there. Now, they had an entire celebrity edition.
Yeah.
And there was like Barbara Walters did it. I think there were other people.
Times, yeah.
Gene Simmons. There was like a rock star version.
Lars Ulrich was on it.
Yeah.
Michael Strahan.
Well,
Michael Strahan.
Of course, he was the last guy to go through because he could never get the fast answers, because you remember everyone would kind of be sitting in a circle, and whoever got the fast answer correct was the one that was allowed to sit in the hot seat.
It's all coming back now with like little music.
Yep. Norm was always the slowest on the fast finger, so he was the very last one in the circle. So they even kick it off with a joke. He's like, all right, Norm, if you can guess this one correct, you'll be able to win. He's like, who is this famous comedian? A, Norm. B, McDonald. Please put it in the correct order now.
Oh my
like
God.
that says, like he had to spell it out. And they're like, oh, okay, come on up, Norm. He proceeded to slay the game. I mean, absolutely dominate. Like, I'm watching it going, this is Chris Morrison in the hot seat. He's like giving answers midway through, and like or like sitting here like trying to slowly figure it out, and he's like, I don't really know. C, final answer. And Regis is like, whoa, slow down on the final answer, because when you say final answer, I can't. He's like, whatever. He's like, well, I mean, you won it, dude.
It's like, what the fuck, Regis?
Well, because
Regis Philbin is a bitch.
well, Regis also doesn't know the he also doesn't know the answers ahead of time. But like, all he really does know is once the contestant says final answer, they're locked in.
Yeah,
they can say, I think it's B. I really think it's B.
Yeah.
They can say that
answer?
all day long, but until they say final answer, it doesn't count. Norm's being fast and loose saying final answer. And he's like, if you need to think about it, but don't say final answer so fast. Because he'd be like, final answer, I don't know. And that's why he's like, you don't do that. But you won it. Miraculously, you won it. He gets all the way up to the $500,000. He gets to the $1 million question.
So he's just nonchalanting his way through it.
Yes, the entire fucking way, using lifelines as bullshit, and it's like, and then you get up to a hard question, and he's like, "Well, now I wish I had not used that lifeline," shit like that. Gets all the way up to the $1 million question. Is about to say final answer for his selection, and Regis is like, "Look, it's for kids, because when celebrities do it, it's for a charity. It's never for them." He's like, "Look, it's for the kids." He's like, "If you're wrong, you lose almost all this money. You go back to like $100,000. If you do this, you get $500,000 for the kids. If you want to go with it, He's like, if I was a betting man, I would." But Regis legit talks him out of it, and he goes, I'm just gonna walk away. And he's like, "Well, what would your answer have been?" He goes, "C." He's like, that would have been the $1 million answer. Like, he got everyone correct.
In one of those questions, he it was where was so and so born, and it was 4 European cities. One was like Paris, Lisbon, Fromholm, and like somewhere else. And he's like, "Well, if I say out loud, I think it's A and B," and they do and he's going to use the lifeline. He's going to use the 50-50.
Yeah.
And then he's like, and they're just going to mark out the ones C and D. They're going to mark. He's like, "Well, that's not how it works." He's like, "Well, I don't know. This seems like
he's like, "You're probably got a guy in the back that's listening to me right now, and is going to take away those two." He's like, "No,
it sounds like something fucked up that y'all would do."
He's like, "No. This is all pre-selected weeks in advance."
And as soon as he uses it, A and B were the only ones left.
Yep.
I'm like, "You pieces of shit!" Like he called out a conspiracy of the game. And that movie I was talking about was Slumdog Millionaire, where the guy who just beats the millionaire game because of life experiences. He's like, "How do you know what $100 in American looks like?" He's like, "Because I found one on the fucking street." You know what I'm saying? Like, or how did you know this? Well, I got beat by this dude who was watching this. Like, it was like a fucked up life story, but he was able to win the game. There was the one guy I loved that was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. He only has to show up once because there's no repeating customers.
Unless they get to the end of the episode where time's up.
Yeah. This guy dominated so well and fast. He had 2 lifelines left at the $1 million question. And one was poll the audience. Mm-hmm. And it was 25, 25, 20, 20. Like across the board.
Didn't help.
Did not help. And he's just like smirking the whole time. He's like, "Let me phone a friend." He's like, "Who do you want to call?"
Oh, I know what you're talking
like,
about.
I want to call my wife. He's like, "You think your wife wanted to answer?" He's like, yeah. He's like, she's like, "Hello." She's like, "Hey,
this is Regis.
Hey, I'm going to win the $1 million."
"Hello, this is Regis Philbin, and you're on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire."
That's so good.
I know. I was just like, holy shit.
But like, he calls. All he says to his wife is like, "Hey, I'm bringing home $1 million. Click."
Yeah. Oh shit.
And he takes his glasses off.
Like a gangster.
Takes his glasses off, wipes one lens, and says, "B." Final answer. And like Regis is like, "You cocky motherfucker," and he's like,
"Anyone?"
Oh my god.
And he's like,
middle fingers in the air, just like.
There's another great conspiracy documentary about Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and it's the guy that did get up to the $1 million, but in the middle of it, you find out that he's getting help from the audience.
Yeah.
Like he's got like his wife coughing certain answers.
I've heard
and all
about
this other shit.
Yeah,
and it's like you couldn't hear it on the main feed. It's like what was going to be the main episode, you wouldn't have been able to hear it. Mm-hmm. They had to isolate microphones in that specific area, and they're like, "Oh my god, she's fucking feeding him the answers."
Yeah.
And it's like they noticed halfway through taping, but they couldn't stop it. So it's like they let him play all the way through. But as soon as they were like, "Thank you, good night," and and all that shit, as soon as the tape stopped rolling, they were like, "Okay, come see us."
This is how big Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was at the time too. I remember hearing about this story through like bits of Conan O'Brien and shit like that.
So a little bit of elaborate history. There was a show called Quiz Show. Mm-hmm. One of the first trivia shows. There's a movie about it called Quiz Show.
Yeah.
It was about a man who cheated, and about the network who supported him cheating, because he was being fed the answers, and it became an elaborate conspiracy to whether the United States had to make a law about shows of skill and chance. Because if it's a game of chance, it's gambling, but if it's a game of skill, totally legal. Pinball was banned in North Carolina because they thought it was a game of chance and people were gambling. That's how fucking stupid
stupid.
people are. And then we get the song Pinball Wizard. Everybody like rocking that shit. But anyway, there was a law in place to prevent that stuff from networks helping contestants or any form of conspiratorial winning.
How long ago was this?
Probably like 1945.
Oh, okay.
It was like when broadcasting first started.
Yeah.
I was gonna say early 50s.
Yeah, but it was big. It was fucking a massive scandal because it was like, I can't believe he lost. And it's like, how did he lose? It's like, man, it's like watching Ken Jennings lose to like some nobody from nowhere, which happened. But but like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
But this is like brand new when it was like
Yeah.
first becoming in public consciousness and all that
think
too.
about
Like,
the
how do
game
we handle all
but
this?
like the game show is basically a carny game brought to television.
Dude, especially like, in those early days, like through the 70s, especially with like the Gong Show and all that.
The Gog Show, the Newlywed Game, the dating game.
Yes.
Dude.
Chuck Barris
Chuck Barris, that motherfucker.
was a psychopath.
See, I got exposed to all of that because we got DirecTV, and that was when it felt like there was a bunch of brand new channels debuting through Dish Network and DirecTV and satellite companies.
Game Show Network.
Yeah.
Game Show Network.
God,
That's
I hated it.
exactly what
I
I
hated that so much.
Again, I don't think you like game shows.
No, because we sound like an asshole again.
Yeah.
That was like the one show that was on all the time in my house.
What?
See, that's how it is.
Oh,
A
that
game
network?
show, a
okay.
fucking game show. And then when I started like going to dialysis and stuff, or going in the hospitals for long periods of time, guess what's on TV? Game shows. Always fucking game shows. I would watch the
They're
prices.
good.
I would watch the Prices Right and be like, I would have won it all. I don't give a fuck. Like I would watch Jeopardy. I'm just like, I would have smoked these fucking pieces of shit. How do
you
you
ever
guys know
tried?
how to play Hangman and the Wheel of Fortune? Huh? None of you.
Have you ever tried getting on one of the shows?
No.
Why not?
No, because like gambling with real people.
Well, I'm just saying though, but like seriously though, because that's always been one like the little thing in the back of my head, being like, I'd love to be able to get on one of those. Even if I flop, I'd love to. But it's like seeing how confident you are, and actually, and not just confidence, but actually seeing it in person. You actually doing very well in
I
trivia.
competed in a trivia game by accident.
Yeah, here.
No. I mean, this was by accident.
Also
This is by accident. A buddy of mine, he reached out to me. He's like, hey, man, I'm going out to dinner. Would you like to come? We went to Applebee's, and wouldn't you know, it was that fucking game night bullshit.
Trivia night.
And like two of his friends were there, and they're like, hey, do you want to play? And I'm just like, we just got here, so we pretty much fucking have to.
Yeah.
So, god damn it.
I fucking guessed.
Yeah, so I'm eating boneless chicken wings, and I'm just like, Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, no, you were that guy.
Yep. Abraham
trivia
Lincoln.
night.
Fuck all of you. You should know this. This is basic history. All of you can go kill yourselves.
But yeah, there's always that one guy at the bar trivia night that's just like yelling out the answers. Just
Yeah.
like, well, no, thanks, but you
And I'm
ruined it
just
for
like,
everybody.
Sir Han. I was just like, who? God damn! Like it's just like I was really good at Trivial Pursuit too, which is another fucked up game.
That was a fun game. We had that board game.
But I was like, you rat fucks! It conned me, and you could have just asked.
Yeah.
And then
And then I would have said no.
And not long afterward, I had got some friends of mine kept doing it because it was like a fucking fun thing to do like every week on a Wednesday night. And it was just like, I got a call one night at like 11:30 at night. And my friend Lindsay, she's like, hey, what was that movie Mel Gibson was in? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like,
Are you serious?
8 millimeter? Like, it's just, why are you asking me about this movie? She's like, oh, we were trying to figure. And I could hear people, like it's just fucking like I could hear clanging glasses and shit. I'm just like, go fuck
trivia
yourselves.
night at Applebee's.
And like they would do the same thing with movie trivia.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Jake Gyllenhaal, Maggie Gyllenhaal, Patrick Swayze. I'm like Donnie Darko.
Yeah.
And like,
But
they're like,
yours
why
would
do
turn
you
my
know
head
that?
too
But, like,
anyway.
but they're like, why do you know that? I'm like, because I fucking remember who
because-
does shit. Like,
I've watched a lot of movies. What do you want from me?
and it was just like it became like a really fucked up like superpower.
You became like the go-to. You became the lifeline.
Yeah, I hated that. I'm just like, well, we could just play the game. We could just have fun, play the game and bullshit. But no, you're treating me like some golden goose. I don't like that shit.
Yeah, they're like going all out for it so they can get their free 2 beers or whatever
And
afterwards.
I fucking love games. I love them. Hell, I've created a couple.
I was gonna say, it's like I'm trying to figure you out, man. It's like an hour ago, you're like, "Fuck yeah, game show episode," and it's like, and then you
I was focused. I want to hear y'all's because I want to talk shit about them.
and then it's like, you've helped out with coming up with the ideas for the horror trivia, the King of the Hill trivia, and
Yeah, but you're not going to give me a
and then-
2017
and then
Honda
you-
at the end.
and then you literally came up with our last Halloween episode, and then you're sitting over here going, "Fuck game show." You gave me the password to the goddamn game show thing we've been watching on College Humor.
That's not even a real game show. They all work for
Game
each other.
changer.
They all work for each other.
So there's not one game show that you would love to be on that's like not an internet game show, like a famous game show.
Any of them. Deal or No Deal.
I would want to be on The Price is Right just to hit Drew Carey in the face and say I did it.
Yeah. Hey,
I got him. I got his glasses. He can see. See, he doesn't need them. They're fake.
you wanna come on down? You wanna spin the wheel?
Look,
I love
Drew
parodies.
Carey does not look right skinny.
No, he does not.
is someone that needs to have a little meat on his bones.
in the multiverse where Jonah Hill is buff as fuck, which he is now, which is kind of scary.
Well, see, even Jonah Hill, this is going off on a tangent. Jonah Hill getting skinny didn't look as weird as Drew Carey getting skinny. Drew skinny just looks very odd. He looks malnourished and like off and bad. Yeah. All right. Well, I was gonna say, what would y'all prefer? Did you like the Bob Barker era at all, or is it just so much hatred for Drew Carey that it just overshines everything?
I love Drew Carey because of Who's Line Anyway.
Yeah,
which
I
is a
do
game
too.
show that doesn't matter.
Yes.
Which is the best game show.
Yes, it is.
But anytime they have to like resort to so the Gong Show is kind of a poor man's game show.
Yeah.
Because you're only winning like $100.
Right.
And you're basically
Just
tricking yourself out for the fucking people.
and it's all just dumb talents.
Yeah. And
watch,
you're always
watch me play banjo with a parrot on my shoulder or some
that's
shit
not
like
that's
that.
not a kink or anything.
no,
Well, speaking of,
that's just a product of cocaine in the 70s.
It's still going though with Wayne Brady.
that still gave birth to one of the quote unquote most outrageous moments on TV. You know what that is?
I remember y'all talking about it, but I forget exactly what it is.
Popsicle Twins.
Yeah.
It was the two girls that just got up there and ate popsicles. That's all they did. And they weren't being extra sexy with it, but they weren't, hiding it. It's like they just brought it out and just started just eating popsicles, and the crowd was going nutty. The hosts
they were.
and
Chuck Barris just hiding his boner, just
yeah,
walking
and
around.
they're just like, and it wound up being
I'm a
one of those.
spy.
I think that wound up being like one of those famed, like it never made it to air until like the 80s or 90s kind of thing. But yeah, that gave birth to a pretty interesting segment.
In Charlotte, North Carolina, right down the road from where we live, you can go to Tipsy Burrow and just watch the Gong Show all fucking day as
damn.
well.
Yeah. Yeah, you can go to Tipsy Burrow and watch the Gong Show, or you can go to Thirsty Beaver and watch Hee Haw.
Yes. Have we had games and shit like that on Hee Haw and shit like that?
Yeah. Yeah, but
Shit like that.
Yeah.
He always also a variety show.
It was, there's a difference between all that, obviously.
One games I really don't like is when they is
Things I hate with Chris Morrison.
yeah, this is going to grind my gears. When you have to rely on someone else, like like Pyramid, where it's like, all right, it's a thing, it's green, it's outside,
Coffee.
bushes, like what? No,
Oh
no,
my God,
it's
yeah.
big, it goes up in the air, it's green,
Clouds.
God damn it! But like it's like
That
playing,
shit drives me nuts, too.
it's like playing fucking Pictionary with a schizophrenic. Like, is the Illuminati? Illuminati? It wasn't worth the first 5 times you fucking said it. Why would it be right now?
They repeat it like 5 fucking times.
I think now I know the next game we're playing.
Yeah, Pictionary.
Oh my God, watch us just like kill each other on the fucking mic.
Pictionary. Of course, it's a Sikorsky F-14. Why did you not see that? It's just like it's like a ball with like 4 blades coming out of it. That's a Sikorsky F-17. Look. There's the rotor. There's a pilot, and there's the dead children on the ground where they shot them. Like,
God. And
that's what that would be your response. God damn.
Also, the dating game was weird as shit, too.
Dating game is so fucking weird.
Yeah, let's think about that concept some. One single girl can't see the 3 dudes, and like,
And one might actually be a serial rapist and killer.
which actually happened.
Yeah, Rodney Alcala.
And that's the fucked up thing. It's like, one, were these guys not, well, clearly not. It's a game show, but they weren't going through any sort of
It's not really a
vetting
game because you're not
process.
really winning anything except a date with this woman who's going to think you're creepy as fuck.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
it's
like-
always like suggestive questions like that too, where it's just like, if I were a piece of meat, what would I be, or some shit like that.
How would you eat me?
Yeah, it's always some shit like that.
Yeah.
I'd grill you up, slice you thin.
And put you in the crawl space.
It's like, that sounds nice. Bachelor number 2. What's your answer?
I'd batter you up. I can keep going. I got these all day, baby.
How do you like your women? Ground up and in the freezer like my coffee.
Bachelor number 1, how do you like your eggs, fried or fertilized?
And the trash.
But like, it's a really weird game. It's a weird way to prostitute yourself.
Yeah, it really affects my prostate.
Yeah.
Damn.
Depends on how you win.
Man,
No, that'd be the fucked up thing.
I was gonna say,
the
they
girl has
told
to
me
pick you, and then you have to go out the other guy.
they told me the show was going to fuck me, but goddamn, my ass hurts.
Yeah, but like the newlywed game,
That was literally going to bring that up.
that is another weird vibe. It's like, let's take this couple who've known each other, and you got to think about it, late 60s, early 70s. Like, they're not going to know each other long because cohabitation's illegal. So you got to
Crack yourself up on that and you can get things straight.
It's so funny because of Christians. But like, they've probably known each other for 3 months. They've known each other through a church or some bullshit.
Yeah.
And like, they decided to get married. They went on a few dates and decided they really want to fuck each other. So now they have to get married. So, and then it's just like, what is Karen's favorite food? It is like dick. It is just like, no.
They're like, Robert.
Yeah. It's always like some weird thing.
You're bad.
And like,
That
what
kind of shit.
like the whole Chuck Barris mythos.
Yeah.
Like, you've heard the story of Chuck Barris and how it's not true. But like,
Go ahead, though.
But it's like, the story of Chuck Barris was he claimed he was a spy, a double spy for the Russians and the United States,
and
he ran his game shows accordingly to send spies over the Berlin Wall. And like, the only confirmation they have on this was one couple won a fucking exciting trip to East Berlin, which is fucking terrible.
Right.
It's like winning a 2017 Honda.
This is like the
It's fucking
60s
bullshit.
or 70s or whatever, too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Cold War hype is all there. Fucking communism's up your ass.
But he really wrote about that in his fucking memoirs, right?
Yeah, it's all bullshit. That's what's funny. He wrote a fake memoir about how he was Confessions of a Dangerous Mind.
Yes.
And it was just like, oh my God, Chuck Barris is either the most elaborate asshole in all of the United States government, or he's still just an elaborate asshole as a civilian. Like, it's so fucking funny because what's his name played him in a movie.
Oh, fuck.
Sam Rockwell.
Oh my God.
Sam Rockwell played Chuck Barris, and it's so fucking good.
I want to watch this so bad.
It's so fucking wild. And I'm just like, oh my God, why would you let this man make game shows for you? And why does it involve prostitutes? Because that's where the stand-ins. That's what's fucked up. Some of those people, he couldn't get actual newlyweds on the game because it was just so hard to do that. So he'd have like Johns and prostitutes on the fucking show.
I mean, you got to get those advertisers happy. You got to get all the got to put bodies in the seats.
Yeah, and it's like, hey, what's this horse favorite food? I don't fucking know. Maybe lettuce? I don't know.
Bitch, what you like to eat?
I didn't have a chance to really talk to her while I paid her the $50.
See,
I could talk. She had her mouth full.
Yeah.
Shit, I didn't realize that
Low
movie.
job, still a job.
I didn't realize that movie was that old either.
Yeah.
2002. Sam Rockwell's Chuck Barris. George Clooney's in it. Fucking Drew Barrymore. Julia Roberts. Holy shit.
Oh, it's star-studded.
Rutger Hauer, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I remember the Newlywed Game. That one birthed a lot of those outrageous game show moments. Remember in the late 90s, early 2000s, there was a string of like TV specials of like most outrageous moments in game show histories and shit like that.
That's usually, what's his name from the Family Feud, the original host from back in the 80s, who'd always just like mac on the women and just like give them a big sloppy one.
I mean, Steve Harvey still kind of does, too.
Yeah, he's weird as fuck. He also has a weird stance on women.
He has a weird stance on a lot of things.
Yeah. You need Jesus, but also women stay in the kitchen.
Basically. We're not here to do that.
Nah. Fuck Steve Harvey.
Just remember, women cook, men are chefs. To quote Gordon Ramsay in
I'm
a
not a
video
cook.
we
I'm
saw
not a woman.
earlier today.
He said, I'm not a cook. I'm not a woman cook. I'm a chef.
Damn.
Yeah, because actually, speaking of the whole Norm Macdonald thing, there's a clip of him on Conan cooking with Gordon Ramsay, or more or less Gordon Ramsay cooking with Norm, like a deer caught in the headlights.
Cutting himself open.
Yeah,
Oh, shit.
And then Conan like trying to keep it together. But yeah, at the very like in the middle of it, like Ramsay's like doing all this crazy shit, like trying to show Norm what to do, and of course he's just acting like bewildered the entire time. And he's like, "Why did you become a cook?" Or no, why did you want? Or he's like, "Why did you want to cook?" And that of course made everyone laugh. And he's like, "Big boy, big boy, big boy. It's chef. It's chef. Women cook." Like that, and then, like, everyone's like, "Oh!"
Do you remember? You go back to the game shows real quick. Do you remember like the newer ones that are out now?
Oh, like Deal or No Deal.
Yeah, the odds on that
I never watched that one though.
is really.
I watched
fucked.
that one a good bit.
That's a really fucked odds kind of game. So it 1 in 50, right?
Oh yeah, it was like
It's 50
50 or 30 cases, something
50
like
cases,
that.
and you have to guess high or low, blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
until you run down to like maybe 5 cases, and then one of them, you pick blah blah blah, and if you pick the high one, you lose that money, and it's like they whittle you down until you just have to take what's offered, which is kind of a fucked up game to begin with. At no point are they hinting at anything. But there was one show I really fucking hated because it was so stupid. Was Can You Beat a Fifth Grader? Was it fifth grader?
Are you smarter than a fifth grader with Jeff Foxworthy?
And I'm just like, you're broadcasting our terrible education system across the universe. Why would you do this? Why would you show this show?
All right, so I'm of two minds of that one. Yes, I have had that exact same thought. At the same time, I also like the show, one, because I was a blue collar fan. I like Jeff Foxworthy.
Yeah.
He was one of my main comedians growing up as a kid. So, of course, I watched the show. One of the things I enjoyed about it, especially my age watching it, there was some stuff that I had already aged out of, but there was some stuff that was still like maybe right around the corner. I remember watching it while I was in like 4th or 3rd grade or something like that. So, like, I remember it being kind of in my age group, too. And there was some of the stuff in there that I was reading going like, we didn't get taught this.
Yeah.
This is, I wouldn't know this, and like this is supposed to be in my age bracket.
I think that was
like
just-
there was a lot
It should have
of
been called,
odd
Are You
stuff.
Smarter Than a Fifth Grader in Connecticut? Where they're number 1 in education.
Yeah, exactly. That was the big thing. I don't really see it as like showing off the idiocy of our nation, but more or less the craziness that can be in those school books that winds up not really being valuable or important later on in life unless Jeff Foxworthy's going, "Are you smarter than a 5th grader?"
Well, a lot of I saw that as like a version of like kids say the darndest things as well.
But a lot of it was to showcase what is taught in schools as opposed to what's beaten into your motherfucking brain.
Yeah.
as a
Right.
child, because that's all the education system is repeat what I say
And do good on the test.
and do it so I can get a raise.
Yeah.
And that's a fucked up way to look at it because there are teachers who actually can teach you stuff who can't do that. I know that went kind of real for a second.
Yeah.
But
game shows, Chris, game shows.
Back to the free pussy game for a second. which I just
Well,
finished.
that's a real life game.
Yeah, I just watched.
No one wins.
That just turned into like
I just finished listening to the Rodney Alcala dating game killer
Yeah.
one, and holy fuck! Even the women like went on first dates with the guy. Were like, that guy's creepy as shit. I don't want to be around him. Even the guys were like, yeah, that guy's weird. Fuck that dude.
with the VH1 reality shows with Flavor Flav and Bret Michaels count as game shows for these poor women.
So for me,
That's like Big Brother.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was gonna
that's
say
true.
game show for me is a set structure with
30 minutes to less than an hour.
Yeah.
and with a specific host.
Yeah,
Like actually one that doesn't really get talked about a lot. It had its moment, but it kind of went away. I enjoyed it. I'm kind of stalling because I can't remember the exact name of Minute to Win It.
Oh, yeah, I remember
that.
I liked that one. And the reason I did is all of their challenges were promoted as shit you can do at home.
Yeah.
Like sure, a lot of it was wasteful, but again, sometimes having fun can be wasteful. So one of them was like that's where that whole pulling out the tissues really fast came from. And then like they would do like competitive beer pong and stacking cups really fast, stacking cards and keep the ping pong ball up in the air with the vacuum on reverse and shit like that. It was just really fun random games that you had to complete within a minute in order to keep going, and it was pretty fun. But yeah, Wipeout. I know you tried to bring that one up.
Yeah, Wipeout is a fairly newer one, which is based off another fucked up game show, American Gladiators.
Well, I was gonna say American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, that's fairly new, but it all came from, for us, American Ninja Warrior came from like Japan.
Yeah.
But the whole test of physical strength and stamina was American Gladiator.
Which I saw on G4 TV.
Yeah. American Gladiator, the originals, you had people like Blade, Laser, Blazer. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like stupid fucking names. And they'd all be jacked, athletic motherfuckers who couldn't quite make it to the NFL or like the best.
No.
And they'd just be like,
Not real athletes, but
they're real athletes. They just didn't make it to the top tier, but they still could kick your ass.
I think Stephen Amell was a competitor in there for a minute too.
And like they're just fucking brutal competition. It's just like, I need you, Cap. You weigh what?
140.
140. You're about what?
Soaking wet.
5'11".
Yeah.
5'11".
Yeah.
Give it 5'11" versus Kong.
Yeah, basically.
6'6", 300 pounds, solid, 1% body fat.
Got
dick. It's like, and you got to get in that door that he's standing in front of.
Yes.
Fuck.
No, man. All you gotta do is just kind of like lean in when you tackle, man. You know, as you go for the waist.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
if we're
the Jared
talking about-
Allen telling Johnny Knoxville how to tackle.
Yes.
Before he decapitates that motherfucker.
Yes.
No, but you just gotta lean into it.
Good old rocky top.
Just some dude brutally murdered on the field. Go back to high school, son.
Well, if we're talking about competition type shows,
But yeah, G4, they had a lot of those.
I was gonna say, what about BattleBots?
BattleBots, yeah, that's a game of skill. Because you have to build a murder machine
Yeah.
that kills another robot that does the exact same fucking thing.
There's a lot of work into that.
But, to consolidate it down, you're taking a normal person and giving them a job to do against someone who is 10 times better at it than you.
Yeah.
Like, there was one part called, like, Climb the Mountain or something on Gladiator, where they're literally throwing large objects at your face while you're trying to get up this fucking, like, hill. And it's just like, just hit them. Just fucking hit them. Give them God's grace. Come down the mountain, smack them down, and let them know. And then they had the ones with the guns, or you had to like shoot the nets and
I
shit.
was say that sounds like some video game shit.
I was gonna say
play.
they all
It's before
started
video
implementing
games.
that on like Wipeout and stuff like that later on
Wipeout
too.
is brutal though. Like some of the stuff is like, all right, well, I need you to jump from circle to circle while it's spinning, and then there's these bars. They're padded.
Don't worry, they're only coming at you 15 miles an hour.
And if you take a 6-foot padded bar to the chin, he may get knocked out. It's water. He's going to land in the water. If he's knocked out, lands in water, he'll drown.
Yeah.
You're killing people.
They'll probably be fucking winded.
I love American Ninja Warrior though, because you get like dudes who are just like athletic as fuck. And then just wipe out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's just like, oh, he's been training for 10 years, moved to Japan to train with the greatest ninja warriors. And it's just like, this is Jeff from California.
Oh, I know it. The whole backstory is
it's
like
just
30 minutes long and shit.
He was
like
a
that.
teacher of blind kids or some shit. Anyway, he's doing like fucking sit-ups and push-ups in the promo. And then he gets there and he can't make it past the second one. And the next one's like, this is 14-year-old Joey. He loves dodgeball and his dog. And he beats the fucking thing.
Welcome to Fear Factor.
That's the best one. Fear Factor.
That's what I've been trying to segue into for the last 10 minutes.
How much dick would you eat for that money?
You explain to Joe how much money you take.
Explain to Joe. Explain to Joe why Sky Blue and how many crickets you can eat for $3,000.
It's entirely possible that you can win $1 million if you eat this amount of bull semen.
I just like some of that stuff. I'm just like, okay, I get it. Like you're being a thing of snakes is scary. You know, because getting bit by a snake's going to hurt.
Yeah, or one of them that always wigged me out is when they had to lay in like the clear coffin. Yeah, and they put the bugs on, like they put like goddamn scorpions on someone, and I'm no, fuck that. Fuck that.
I wouldn't give a shit about. What I give a shit about was like walking across hot coals. I'm like, how hot we talking?
Well, see,
Like,
I would,
strong, Joe Rogan.
Well, see, I would do that one faster than I would the bugs one because I understand the physics of how to make the walking on hot coals thing work. You don't run. You gently place your feet and you kind of glide as you walk, as to not apply a whole lot of pressure, because the more pressure you apply, the faster it does. You see these people that like go bolting across it. That's why their feet always get burned up, is they're crushing their feet into these hot coals. If you just kind of brisk yourself across it, you're just fine.
Just doing like, as you say it out loud, trying to like stretch my feet too. Just kind of like
I know, it still
ninja walk.
but fuck laying in a bunch of scorpions. Fuck laying in a whole bunch of goddamn worms and snakes and all that shit. Now, I'll put myself through the physical shit. I don't know. I might eat shit before I go laying in a bunch of bugs.
Worms wouldn't bug me all that much. It'd be the scorpions and the snakes, stuff that can like physically harm you. And shit like
the
that.
Snakes are like, welcome to Fear Factor. I mean, the worms are like, here, welcome to Fear Factor. Here's your fucking worms. Take a bath.
It's your rite of passage.
Yeah. That's like entrance level. Okay, yeah. I'm not talking about worms. I'm talking about all the. I may have said worms, but like all the extra creepy crawly shit.
Oh,
no,
if you're
fuck
like
that.
full of crickets and shit like that.
Well, crickets maybe.
Centipede,
I'm a little bit more
like centipedes.
Fuck a centipede.
Oh.
Roaches.
Yeah,
shit like
roaches
that.
would be tough.
Yeah, none of that. No.
You mean you wouldn't do it for $1 million?
Don't we watch the thing? Oh, this is going to race to the bottom. Don't do that. I'll do it for $1 million. I'll do it for $1,000. Sell yourself.
$500.
That's a game called Race to the Bottom would be the fucking best game.
Okay. Well, there we go. I would actually kind of like to do. I've been wanting to do a game similar to that. So if we're kind of birthing it here, let me stew on that. I think a game Race to the Bottom, and like everyone has like giveaway Monopoly money at the start. That way, everyone has a certain amount of money to spend, and it's like reverse bidding.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, you got to do it.
Yeah.
It's like Patreon listeners. And
we need money.
Yes.
Would you sleep in a 2017 Honda?
Give us this much money to put Alex in a bed full of cockroaches.
Yeah, let's talk money, y'all.
It'll fund all the other videos.
But apparently Cap didn't hear the part of Monopoly money.
Yeah. Right.
But actually...
But anything that takes like endurance in a game show, I think is very impressive, because it's a lot of shame that goes into that.
Or lack thereof.
Yeah, lack of shame.
And man, that is a beautiful, perfect segue. It's almost like you read my mind into the next little genre of game shows that I was going to bring up, which is in the complete opposite spectrum of stuff like Fear Factor and American Ninja Warrior and BattleBots. You click on up that cable station a little ways, you land on Nickelodeon, and you got Legend of the Hidden Temple, Super Slime Double Dare, where all of a sudden you got all these kids doing these crazy stunts and game shows and shit like that.
Figure it out.
But seriously though, Double Dare,
Every kid wanted to be on Double Dare.
But you know what? I know what you hate. I know you hate it already. Because all it was Family Feud with physical challenges. Yeah. That's all it was. It was two families pitted against each other with a trivia question.
Hidden Temple better.
See,
I never saw Hidden Temple.
That one was hard for me to get into. Same reason as like watching the movie Jumanji back as a kid. It had that same kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And I don't know, just it didn't really ring true with me. I love the neon and the craziness of Double Dare and then later on Super
really
Slime
went all
Double Dare
out with the fan base.
Oh my God, yes. And and you were talking about Figure It Out. There was also...
I was going to tell you something. I found an original Nickelodeon Zeppelin, the little plastic one.
Oh,
I found one.
yes.
I found one of those the other day.
Nice.
No, that's awesome. I love that.
See, I'm looking at Figure It Out now. Just some of these old... some of these old photos. I remember
I'm having to look at that too.
I remember being a little kid, kind of having a little like mild crush on Summer Sanders too.
Yeah.
So I had a 5th grade teacher looked kind of like her that was cute too.
There was Double Dare. They had the little cups. What was it? What was the helmets with the hands on them?
Yes.
And they had to carry some. What was it? They had to carry.
Oh god, there was a ton of that stuff. Yeah, there was. They had to carry stuff, or like sometimes they had to like scoop stuff out of bins and take it over to another spot. Some of the physical challenges I really remember was like they had this giant nose that you like had to root around inside to grab the flag out of.
And you got to like run with the flag because you got covered in slop.
Yeah, this was like the very end.
And you like smack that motherfucker on something.
This was that era like Nickelodeon where it's just like embraced all the gross body fluids like Ren and Stimpy did and shit like that too.
See, and it's like all these stations keep re-releasing like Hey Arnold and Doug and all this. Where's the old shit like this? Like, I want reruns of Double Dare and Figure It Out and like Hidden Temple. I would love to watch that shit again, but it's like it seems like all we can get are the classic cartoons back. We're not getting any of our classic live action back. Because, dude, Mark Summers. He was my man, because it's like I'd watch him during the day for Double Dare, and then later on that night I'd click on through to fucking Food Network and watch Unwrapped. Yeah. It's like it was the bee's knees.
Oh shit! You get like, well, I guess all these cooking channels kind of have game shows too, where they are. It's a different.
There's only one
of it.
There's only one that I can think of that I would say falls under game show, and it's not any of the mainstay ones, but Cutthroat Kitchen, hosted by Alton Brown, because that one. So the setup of that game is you've got 3 contestants, and say for the very first one, Alton goes, okay, contestants, what I want you to do is I'm in the mood for a nice grilled cheese sandwich. You've got 1 minute in that pantry over there to make me the best grilled cheese, or to get all the ingredients you need to make me a great grilled cheese sandwich, and go. And everyone runs in there, grabs all the shit that they feel like they're going to need. They go back to the stations, and he goes, all right, now it's bidding time. And he opens up a cloche, and it's like Cheese Whiz or some shit. He's like, how much is this Cheese Whiz worth to you to sabotage another player and take away all their cheese and give them Cheese Whiz, or like Cheez-Its? And you have to deal with that.
That's a very elaborate version of that. And what was the other one? It's like 3 or 4 contestants. They get a basket. What is it?
Supermarket sweep.
No. They get a basket of bullshit, and they're told to make like a salad. You know what I'm talking about? And they make an appetizer, a meal, and then a dessert. I'm kind of pissed I can't remember this name.
I know, I can't. Because I'm not remembering this either.
It's a good cooking show, but the judges are just assholes.
Who are the judges?
It's always the same 3. It's a Spanish guy, this little woman, and someone else, like Bobby Flay type people.
It's not like Top Chef or anything like that.
No, it's Scratched or Scrapped or some shit.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I think it's like Chopped.
Yeah. I always watch that show. I'm just like, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's an odd one.
That's the hard ingredients you're giving them pieces of shit.
Well, how about
because they can still go over here and get some stuff. No, I'm going to give you a basket of olive loaf, gummy bears, sour cream, and the one chip from the one chip challenge. I want you to make me a dessert, you piece of shit. Like, and just watch them cry.
Right. and one that barely falls under game show, but if we're talking about food competitions, it would be so remiss if we did not bring up Iron Chef.
Iron Chef.
And then, of course, I always think back to, all right, Bob, you want to watch Iron Chef.
The cooking challenge shows are always kind of fun because they gotta think on their feet. But a lot of it's like snipped and cut and edited because,
of course,
like you watch Chopped and they just have a fucking mess in front of them, and it's like, all right, guys, we're gonna have you come back here for like 5 minutes and we're gonna take our time, and then it's like they come back, every kitchen is cleaned, like sparkling.
Same thing with like Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah. Yes,
honestly, it feels like Iron Chef is the only one that you really do see a good bit of the process to and from, because it's an hour-long show, and they have an hour to cook it. And you only get maybe 10 minutes with the judges at the end. So they're only cutting out maybe 20 to 30 minutes of the actual cooking. Yeah. So that just accounts for, all 3 of... Have you worked in a kitchen?
Not in the kitchen. Yeah.
Well, Chris and I, we've worked in the kitchen. There are many peaks and valleys throughout the whole thing. Sometimes you're a lot more communicative, and sometimes you're just in the zone. So it feels like Iron Chef is one of the few that really does show it start to finish. Yeah. The only thing that fucked me up about that show, completely ruined it. And I mean literally ruined it to the point where I can still watch it, but I don't watch it with the same kind of wow anymore. the motherfuckers know what the secret ingredient's going to be an hour before they do it. They don't know going in, but they know an hour before taping. So it's like when they reveal the cloche, and they're always like, bean sprouter!
Something you can't fucking pronounce.
well, no, it's almost been like a running gag that he barely pronounces like whatever it is correctly. Yeah, it's. I'm surprised the woke community's not canceled the motherfucker, but yeah, he very much intentionally plays up the Asian accent, you know. So as soon as it pulls it up, and everyone's like, oh no, or like some crazy black truffle or a fish they've never heard of. No, they actually heard about it like an hour ago, and it just makes it. I don't know. That did kind of soil it for me a little bit because these are supposed to be crazy top-notch chefs. They should be able to create something within an hour with this ingredient. Yeah. So for them to know the day of, I don't know, just that kind of ruined it a little bit.
I can see that. What about like we mentioned it before we got on the mic about Cash Cab and how big that was.
Cash Cab.
Yeah, trivia based.
Yeah, trivia based, but like what a fucking what a concept though. You get you're in New York, you're just taking a cab, getting from here to there. Remember cabs, guys?
Yeah.
And then
Cash Uber.
Yeah. And then you but yeah.
You'll sell my dick for $20.
But yeah, so I'll take you to where you got to go, but you got to answer all these questions. I had fun with it. I love the show.
Now, real quick.
Now the rules of the game. I'm very vague on the rules of the game. I remember you could win money.
Yes, and as soon as you lose, you get kicked out.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you still have money.
No, you lose the money and get kicked out.
You lose all the money you won.
I forget if there's certain segments, but I do know that it's almost kind of like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire style, where like you can, like, as long as you answer a certain amount, you might walk away with 100 or something. But I do feel like if you get every bit of them wrong before you get to your destination, you just walk away with nothing.
Yeah. They still get you to where you're going though.
Unless you get everything wrong.
Oh, really? They just drop you off like,
then they drop you off because you got a free ride up to that point.
Get the fuck out of my cab.
Yeah, you just got a free ride up to that point.
Well, you still got a free ride, so.
Yeah, true.
So let's think about this though, because, you know, being content creators, I often think about the flip side of things. Like, you know, like when we went and recorded those commercials for Never Heard of Them.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we were walking around, you know, just getting weird reactions from people. Imagine them trying to record the pilot in the first season of Cash Cab. And it's not been on TV yet.
Yeah.
Anything. You get in this motherfucker and all of a sudden,
start streaming.
BAM! It's like,
oh,
whoa, fuck!
Those were some of my favorite moments where like old ladies would get in the cab and they see these lights and they're like, oh.
But imagine, like, you don't know anything. You've
Like,
not
if
heard
it's
about it on TV.
If it's
Nothing.
if it's a fucking young couple trying to get from like Brooklyn to like Queens or some shit, they're going to shoot that motherfucker in the chase.
Yeah. And that's why I'm sitting here going, I'm like, I would be, especially now being in New York, imagining back then before the show aired, and he's just like cutting all these episodes, and I'm assuming like within a weekend, you know, they get everything for like a season, but still, you being one of those random people that's caught in that first season debut.
Are we gonna die?
Yeah! Like, oh shit, this acid is way stronger than you said.
You guys want to play a game?
I know. Think about it. You get in the cab, all of a sudden, all these strobe lights going off. Let's, you know, for comic effect, let's imagine he's got the speakers in there and you've got like the loud trumpet. And all of a sudden, he's like, this guy turns around. Dude is bald, intimidating looking. Like, you look at the host, he's intimidating. All of a sudden, he turns around, he's like, welcome to Cash Cab. You want to play a game? That is terrifying.
It's like, sir, I just want to get to such and such street.
That's fine. Answer all these questions
My
correctly.
God, I just want to live.
You will. Now, first
Tell me
off,
tell me the 4 presidents on Mount Rushmore, and we'll go one block up.
Yeah, that's essentially what he'd do.
And I'm just like,
Or my other favorite.
And then he would, and then talking about like the pressure of shit, you saying that reminded me, yes, that is correct. Each answer would get them a certain number of blocks. He would actually be sitting at a red light and then go, by the time this turns green, if you don't have an answer for me, I have to let you out. So it's like he would like even use like that for like that temporary kind of thing,
Put
just
them on
to
the
get
spot.
them to do it.
No, my other favorite moments on that show would be like after it blew up and became famous, where passengers would get in and be like, "Oh my God, we're on Cash Cab! Holy shit!
I've been trying for weeks."
I spent so much money on cabs this weekend trying to
I've been hailing cabs and killing cab drivers to get my money back.
And it's you. It's finally you.
And then she loses in like the first round.
I love you so much.
That dude's like a legit.
Finish the seasons.
Yeah.
And then that dude's like a legit comedian in real life
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Comedians make some of the best hosts though.
I think so. But then we get all these remakes of like classic game shows too that are hosted by like
the Gong Show.
that are hosted by like Snoop Dogg and Alec Baldwin. Oof. But yeah,
Wayne Brady.
You got a
did.
shot
Brady.
with Alec Baldwin.
topical.
Topical.
Honestly,
I want to see Joey Diaz do Jeopardy.
Oh my god.
I was gonna say we'll wind up talking about it on something good episode, but honestly, after reading into everything and
haven't
understanding the way movies run, I feel so bad for Alec Baldwin.
He killed a person. That's fucking terrible.
It is terrible. I feel bad for him because I have read up on the circumstances, and the way it went down, he is not to blame.
No.
Yeah,
That's why there's
of
a
course he
union.
didn't mean it.
The union got fired.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that's why the union exists. Because,
Yeah.
fun fact, back in the day, back when,
It's the same thing that happened with Owen Hart.
yeah, but back in the early days of filmmaking, when you'd watch like some James Cagney film or some shit, he's actually getting shot at. That's
Yeah.
real bullets. They hired a marksman with a fully automatic weapon. Come in like, all right, James, we're going to need you to run across the alley. And then Big D here, he's going to open about like 60 rounds in less than a second on your ass. So you really need you to move. And it's just like,
Sell it, man. Sell it.
yeah, and he was like, fuck this bullshit. And they created the Film Actors Guild.
Yeah.
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 But just since we've gone down that rabbit hole,
that's how Bruce Lee died. Bruce Lee's son died, Brandon Lee.
and the way this one ran down is it was part of that whole worker strike thing that had been happening off and on within the last month. Union workers quit. They hired non-union workers. And the extra wrinkle that I've not really seen in a lot of articles, I so happened to have ran across this on YouTube a few weeks prior. It is cheaper for them to rent actual guns than it is for them to rent props.
wow.
Prop
It
guns
is
are very
cheaper.
elaborate. Prop guns are very elaborate to make.
Yeah.
Because you got to put all the details on. That makes sense.
Well, not just that, it has to fire a false round and still look real. So smoke has to come out.
Yeah.
You know,
So-
splash still says, pow,
Makes sense.
So a lot of people are discussing the whole firearms don't belong on sets. Well, yeah, they trust me, the filmmakers also agree.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to pennies on the dollar, when you're having to spend so much other shit, if it's an option between real and fake, and the real is cheaper, you're going to go with real. And unfortunately, the prop guns that were also real were not tested by the non-union workers. They were supposed to be cold. It was supposed to be a cold round, and it wound up having a load. And what is the actor supposed to do in that moment?
Right.
You know, it's not like he's
Reload.
gonna, it's not like he's going to fire, 6 shots off in the air before, doing it. That's what the union was supposed to do. That's what everyone else testing it was supposed to do. So that's at least why I'm saying I feel bad for Alec Baldwin, because there was nothing he could have done. He was given the green light by everyone on set.
Yeah.
He was just trying to do the role.
Now, we talk about game shows. Would you consider, I consider it a game show because it's fucking bullshit. Court TV?
No,
Explain.
that's not.
That is not real.
That's barely
that's a-
reality TV.
That's
That's
like
a weird-
Jerry Springer-esque.
yeah, that would be saying Jerry Springer's a game show.
Well, you win something at the end. Oh, ass
Or,
whooping.
or is more a game show? Is more a game show in the fact that you win if you're not the father?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd probably be the closest.
You win like a high five from everyone in the front row.
Yeah, I know. Get
You get
nice
to run, you get
cheers
to run
and
laps
everything.
and shit. But
Oh, apparently our neighbor's game is over because he's getting in his loud
yeah.
fuck you car to
Broom,
drive
broom,
away.
broom, 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 broom.
go Bulldogs. But some of the newer game shows have kind of gone off the rails a little bit.
Yeah.
It's all with remakes and
But they're trying to be like American Ninja Warrior, which is a very specific type of game, and it's very elaborate. I love the set piece. It's all one thing, and there's always in my mind I'm thinking like the most fucked up thing I would do is just add more real fucked up shit to you. Like, oh, before you can hit the button, you have to kill a man. Like,
That would be your game.
yeah, you have to commit murder.
isn't that the Hugger Games?
Yeah, that's what you get to go, kids.
Squid Games.
Yeah, Squid Games.
Games.
I still haven't watched that.
I haven't either.
I've
Almost,
got
almost
the gist of it.
refused.
I got
Yeah,
the gist of it,
Me
so
too.
I'm good.
Korean
Korean movies are great.
Crack the cookie and you die.
Yeah, but
That's all I need to know.
All right.
but it's
sounds
Korean.
fun. Sounds
Have
like
you not seen any of the memes?
No.
I don't care.
What do you do on the internet? Because I see you sharing shit. What do you look at?
I mean, I don't care about Squid Games. I don't
Well,
know.
it's not that you don't care
Or
or not, but it's like I literally threw out like a meme that like has been flooded social media, and you're like, all right, like how have you not seen that?
Which one is it again?
Never fucking mind.
Again,
He's got dreams of making it big. in the music
He's in
industry.
another world right now.
I feel you. I'm there too, brother.
the only meme page I find is in the Discord.
Okay, but I'm gonna start sending like just fucked up game show memes.
That's what it's there for.
Well, here, let me ask you this, guys. Since we're kind of, we've actually had a pretty good size episode on this one. I know you said you don't want to be, and so I'll come to you last. But if any of us were to be on a game show, what do you think it would be? And not what is your favorite or what you most would like to play, but what do you think you would actually win at? Whether you enjoy the game or not, but what game show would you submit yourself to that you feel like you would have the best chance of winning?
Good question.
Honestly, for me, I would go with something like Wheel of Fortune, or get the whole group together to do like a Family Feud type thing, like either do like a podcast version or with the actual family, you know, but just me and a group of people doing like a Family Feud or a Wheel of Fortune that's got a little bit of like, you know, give me this, give me that. Oh, I can solve this shit, you know, deducing type shit.
Yeah, something along those lines. Probably Wheel of Fortune for me.
Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
Don't steal my answer. Come
I
up
know.
with something
All right,
original.
trying to think. Well, we'll come back to me.
No, I already said Chris's last. I gave you
All right.
buffer. Come on, think on your feet.
Okay.
We just listed off 50 game shows.
Oh, I know it. Probably Cash Cab.
Cash Cab?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would. I could see you having fun on that one. What about you, Chris?
I was gonna say Cash Cab.
Well, don't steal his answer. Be original, Chris. Think of something else.
What is Cash Cab?
Honestly, in my head, I had Jeopardy for you.
Yeah.
Because
I would
you just
play
showed me
Jeopardy.
as that stoic "fuck you" contestant.
Yeah, because this is like, if it was still Alex Trebek, yeah, because I think I would have a ball doing that. Because I just
Fuck you, Trebek.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be my last answer. I always thought, like, I will say, growing up, I always thought if you had negative money, you owed them money.
I did too. I did too.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, this is fucked.
I'm like, poor fucking Jerome over here lost $5,000. You need to get it together, man. And it's just like, oh shit, he owes Alex Trebek like $5,000. No one has that kind of cash laying around.
That's why they're on the show.
Yeah, exactly. Any trivia-based game, I think I'd be pretty good at.
Yeah.
Just get me on the Gong Show and just do all the useless talents.
The Gong Show, I don't like because you have to dress up in a stupid fucking costume.
Well, it was the 70s anyway. They're all dressing
But
silly.
they're doing it
even if
now,
were
too.
being-
They still do it now, and I'm just like, ugh, cosplayers.
No, Wayne Brady hosting it.
Yeah, cosplayers.
Wayne Brady's like hosting all of them. Isn't he doing like Let's Make a Deal too?
Yeah, I think so. They're all over the place. They got a new one, a new like trivia based one, and or like they brought back one Guess That Tune, but it was what is it? Shazam.
Okay.
They used Shazam to name that song.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, that's pretty good, but I would fuck them up playing Under Pressure and Vanilla Ice.
Right. It's a
Ding 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 ding. No.
Nope.
It's the ting. It's the extra
It's
ting,
the
bro.
extra ting. See, it's not the same. It's not the same.
They should have broke his fucking legs,
Suge Knight should have thrown him off that fucking window.
and then Suge Knight should have followed. But I think I'd be good at any like trivia based game.
Yeah,
If it was about movies, holy shit. That's a game. That's a game we should play. Trivial Pursuit.
Ooh, that would be fun.
I'm surprised we haven't done Star Wars trivia yet. Still.
I'm not good at Star Wars trivia.
Bullshit.
Nope, not good. Because like when you get to like the stupid fucking names of like extras, I'm just like, fucking boffins.
What is the name of Jabba the Hutt's pet?
I don't know.
Laughing pet.
Don't know.
Slashes Crow.
Puppet.
Puppet.
Puppets. So he just like aggressively pets it like an autistic kid. Puppet.
Well, that earlier was like my "Who Wants to Be a Millionaire" sounding of the seventh trumpet. This is wrapping up a fucking fantastic episode of the Couch Potatoes. Hopefully, I will have you two contestants back for next week. But for this episode, I've been Alex.
This has been Cap.
And Chris, do you have any sort of double jeopardy for us for these final thoughts?
I'm actually kind of curious if you could name all 4 presidents that are on Mount Rushmore. I'm kind of curious if you could. Close your computers and look me in the eye and tell me each fucking one of them. Look me in the eye and say it.
Washington, Lincoln, Roosevelt, Theodore Roosevelt, and Jefferson.
Name them in order.
Fuck. George
He
Washington.
already did better than me because I would have farted out
George
on.
Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Lincoln.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I
You get to
remember
go one block up the road.